Rebecca Soni.
Thank you all for coming out. So basically, I'm just going to tell you a couple stories, and then I want you guys to think of some questions. It's really fun for me to talk about things that you guys are interested in hearing about. So I think that's going to be where most of this talk is going to be about. So think of questions. We'll get to those in a little bit, but there's definitely a couple of things that I would love to share with you guys. So I'll kind of start from the beginning really quick. I started swimming when I was 10 years old, which is a little bit older in our sport. Lots of kids start when they're 5 or 6 or 4 or 3. So I started when I was 10, and I basically ended up in the pool because my older sister, for her 10th birthday, wanted to be on the swim team. And 2 years later, when I was just in the carpool with mom and dad and the sister driving to practice, waiting for her to finish, and then driving home, they kind of saw it was a little waste of time. They thought, well, let's throw the other kid in the pool too. So that's how my start was. I was doing gymnastics beforehand, which I really loved. I was playing the piano, so I had lots of other things. And since I was kind of forcefully put into swimming, I didn't particularly love it at first. I didn't know anything about it. So the first day when I showed up and they said, "Where's your cap?" I said, "What's a cap?" And then they said, "Okay, here's your cap." I put it on sideways, and they fixed it. And then said, "Okay, go 100 IM." And I said, "What the heck is that?" And then they said, "Fly back." And I was like, "Fly where? Fly what?" Like, I had no idea. So it took a while. From stories I've heard from my mom, apparently they would call her and say, "Oh, Rebecca's sleeping in the locker room again. She went to the bathroom and never came back, found her taking a nap in there." And, I always had this pair of goggles that broke, so I would sit on the wall all the time and fix them. Not trying to give you guys ideas, but I didn't like it. So this was the first year or so of my swimming career. And eventually I started to see that I actually enjoyed coming to the pool. I was doing it every day, so my friends were there and we were having a good time, and slowly started to transition to working really hard. And that's when I really started swimming. I don't really count those first 2 years. That was like introduction to swim. But it was really when I fell in love with the sport, when I started to work hard, when I started to actually care about coming to practice every day. And for me, that's when I learned what hard work was. And I never really watched the older swimmers. I didn't really watch. I didn't really, pay attention to what was going on in the swimming world. I didn't know much about times and who the fastest people in the world were. I was just going to swim because I liked it, because I was, working hard and it felt really good. And I was in the pool and my sister was there, and I was always trying to be like her, and she loved that. That was sarcastic. So I was always, just trying to keep up, and every time she would move up in a group, I would try to move up too, so I could keep up with her. And I just really started to love working hard, and that's about the time when I started to swim breaststroke, or at least remember it. And that's really the beginning of my swimming career. So I was always a breaststroker, and I say it chose me. I didn't choose it. I would go to practice every day. Eventually, I was going straight from school in the afternoon, swim for 3 or 4 hours, and then come back, and it's late at night. So put a lot of hard work, a lot of effort into it, and I just loved what I was doing. All through high school, when I was doing doubles early in the morning and driving straight from practice to school to practice again without ever going home. Looking back now, I can't imagine how I did that, but it's because I loved it so much. Nothing really felt better than coming home at 11 p.m. and just feeling exhausted and feeling that hard work, and you can physically feel how you made yourself better today. That's what I loved about it. So as I got a little older, I made my first nationals when I was 13, and I was itty-bitty little thing, and I went to nationals, and here go these giant guys walking around, the Mac Weavers and the Nathan Adrians, and this little girl getting washed over in their tidal waves and warm up, and I just had no idea that swimming was like this, And I think I came in 60-something that first nationals, but it was such a great experience just to see the world of swimming and see, watch the fastest people. That was the first time I ever had that opportunity. And slowly, as I got older and through high school, I made my first national team my senior year of high school, which was World Universities, and I got a chance to go to Turkey and swim in my first international competition and kind of get a taste of that, and I have been on the national team ever since, and it's been such a great experience. Between the places that we get to go and the people that I've gotten to meet, it's been a really incredible ride so far. So after graduating high school, I moved out to California from New Jersey, and I went to USC, and I attended all 4 years of college, graduated in 4 years, swam all 4 years, and it was such a great experience. I cannot imagine that I would be anywhere near where I am today if I didn't have that experience of training with the amazing coaches that I've had for now the past about 8 years, and the teammates, the team experiences that I got to go through. And it was so much fun. I'm sure some of you guys experience it, whether it's in high school swimming. I didn't do high school swimming, I just did club. And so when I got to college, this whole aspect of, having 50 of my closest friends automatically being the swim team, and then, going to NCAAs with the 20 girls team, it's really such a great experience. The camaraderie, the sportsmanship that you share together. I had so much fun, and many of the best experiences in my swimming career come from those NCAA meets. I think one of the top ones was my freshman year, so I was still kind of getting used to stuff, and then we had the top-ranked medley relay in the country going in, and for me it was really exciting. We did relays before, but college relays are really something that's so much passion, so much emotion behind it, and I've heard it said that NCAAs is the hardest meet in the world, including the Olympics, or the most, passionate, the most intense meet. And it really is, because it's shorter, it's only 3 days, and there's so much fire behind everybody for defending their school, defending their pride, and, wearing their school mascots with pride. And it's such an intense, exciting time. So being the top-ranked medley relay, and medley is the only one that us breaststrokers get to swim, so it was really exciting. And it was finals. We were seated probably second going in. We ended up getting second place. It was a very close race, but I still remember it and think of it as one of the highlights of my college career, because it was just so much fun to get up, have that pressure on your shoulders of being the top team coming in and then putting up a great race. We did a great race, even though we got in second, but it was really my first taste of that, and I loved it. And then after junior year was 2008, and I made the 2008 Olympic team, which I just want to say that I, never thought that would happen to somebody like me. I'm just a small town kid from the middle of nowhere in New Jersey, and my parents, they didn't even know what was going on. They're from Europe, and they moved over here, and we kind of lived in our own little bubble culturally, and I just, was going through life. I didn't expect that someone like me would achieve anything great. I didn't expect that. I didn't even think about it. It never came into my mind. I always hear some of my friends on the Olympic team and other sports when they do talks and say, I was a little kid and I always wanted to be an Olympian. That's my goal. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing every day. And to me, I didn't have that. I just did what I did because I loved it so much. So about a year before 2008 trials, suddenly in my head I realized that I was the top 200 breaststroker in the country, and all I had to do was stay where I was, and I would make it on the Olympic team. So even though I finally realized that it might be a shot, the night that I made the team was still really incredible. I don't really think it sunk in for a long time that I had made the Olympic team and what that means, and it was just such an exciting time that I didn't really expect myself to be here, but I found myself here, and I was so excited, so ready to race in the Olympics. And I don't know how many of you maybe weren't watching the Olympics in 2008, but if you were, you might remember someone named Liesl Jones, who was the top breaststroker in the world for the past, 8 to 10 years. And up there with Amanda Beard, you guys know that name, of course. And she was the world record holder in the 200 breaststroke, and I had no doubt in my mind that she was going to win the gold medal, no doubt. And when we stepped up to race that night in finals, I don't remember who was ranked first or second, but we were right next to each other. And I hadn't had too many chances to race her before, so I didn't really know what she was doing. I just knew that she was strong on the walls, strong on the start, and then I was really strong on the last half of the lap. So my strength was swimming. I never had good pullouts. That's just the way. I was never able to build those up very well. And I knew that hers were really strong. So I just went in and I said, I'm just going to race for second place. In my mind, that was the only option. Just like I never thought I'd make the Olympic team, I never thought that I would be able to beat this powerhouse breaststroker next to me. And I just kind of zoned her out. I saw what she was doing. I wasn't looking, but I saw. But I kept thinking to myself, keep your eyes in your own lane. That's what my coach used to tell me when I was younger. Because I would get nervous swimming next to certain people. And he said, don't worry about what they're doing. Just keep your eyes in your own lane. Do what you've trained to do. Do the race that you've done hundreds of times before. And focus on your own strategy. And my strategy was the second half of each lap was always stronger. So some of you that might have watched the race, you might see that you can always go back and watch it, but off the start, she blasts out of there, and I slowly catch up on the first turn. And then again, her pull out, she shoots ahead of me, and I slowly catch up, so we're even. Again, third turn, she blasts out, and slowly catch up. We touch even at the last turn, and that's the point that in my head I was like, I've done it 3 times, why can't I do it one more? All I have to do is catch up again. I don't care how much she goes ahead on the pullout. I actually think I kind of took a little mental break on the pullout. Well, it doesn't matter because I know she's going to die, And then I kind of went into it. But I never thought I was going to win. So we were about, 10 yards out, 10 meters out, and into the flags, and I finally realized she just totally fell back. She must have kind of gotten mentally blocked by seeing that someone was right next to her, and she didn't expect it either, I'm sure. And I was able to pull away in the last 5 meters. You can see in the camera, my face is like, like I'm in the streamline. The pool, it was so beautiful. They had it was called the water cube, and the ceiling was all this beautiful detail. And they have these shots from the underwater camera where you see the swimmer and then the roof above it. And my face is just like, and when I touched the wall, I realized I had won the gold medal, and then I saw I broke the world record too, and it was just a really incredible moment. I never thought I would be there. I just, the reason I got there was because of hard work and because I loved what I was doing and because I never gave up. And so that was a great experience, and then fast forward 4 years later to London. So I graduated in 2009 from USC, and then I transitioned over into the professional athlete type of life, which is interesting because you think professional athlete, you think LeBron James or Kobe Bryant or football players or whoever. But swimmers, we do it too. It's fun. But it was really a great time for me because I was able to focus 100% on my training, and also when you're at that level of swimming, I started to have this kind of respect for my coach and him likewise, where he was still a college coach, so he was coaching the college team and also coaching us, older people, professional athletes. And so the older kids, we kind of came for practice, and then we left. We went back home. So the rest of our training was up to us. And for me, I really enjoyed that. I got to put in the things that I enjoyed and take out the things that I didn't. So I did not like weights because some of you that were in the clinic and those of you that are going to be, I talked a lot about flowing with the water and working with the water. It's not, for me, it's not about strength. And so I didn't like weight training. I didn't want to be bulky. I wanted to be light and airy. So I was able to kind of drop the weights. I still did some, lots of dryland work, tons of dryland work, but all free weight, body weight, and core work. And I got to add in the yoga and Pilates, which is something that I really loved and has helped me so much. And spinning, and I got to really get into nutrition, which I found was so beneficial for me for my training, and got to work on my mental approach because there's so much training that goes into your swimming that's outside of the pool. Just like that race when I was racing Liesl Jones, when we were at that last lap, she could have swam just as fast as I did that last 50, but something in her brain made her body shut down and freak out. So that's all mental training. There's so much mental training that goes into the big races like that. So I got to focus on all that stuff while I was training and getting ready for London, and it was definitely a really different experience coming back as a returning gold medalist. A lot of more pressure. Everybody that you're doing an interview with says, "Are you going to win another gold medal?" And I said, I haven't even made the team yet. One thing at a time. And it was just a very different experience. The first time I came kind of wide-eyed, and everything was amazing, and everything was so much fun. And London was amazing, and London was really, really fun. I actually, between the two Olympics, London was my favorite, but it was just a lot more pressure, a lot more stress, a lot more being present in the situation as opposed to just showing up and, being swept off your feet. And it was a really, really great experience. We had such an amazing women's team, which I'm sure some of you got to watch, between having someone like Missy Franklin on the team and Dana Vollmer and Natalie Coughlin, and just the chemistry between the whole women's team. The men were amazing too. We had a great time, training with them and all that, but we had so many times when we separated men and women and got to really become that unified team that I talked about just with college. It's the same thing, but it's totally different on the national level because often these girls are your competitors. And it didn't matter. For us, we were just all there experiencing the same things, building our connections, and when we actually got to meet, because we do about a month of training camp before, by the time we actually got to the meet and we were watching each other swim, we were so involved in each other's races. And for me, I'm someone who does not like to listen to music before I race. I like to be in the moment. I like to be watching the swim meet, hearing, everything going on, and I get so much motivation from watching other people swim. For example, you guys know who Aaron Pearsall is? I kind of mentioned him earlier in the clinic, the backstroker. Him and I, the backstroke events were always right before breaststroke, and since he was in the men's event, that was literally like the event before mine. So I would always watch him race, and I just remember like several world championships where he would, break a world record, and I'd be like, okay, well, whatever he does, I'll try to do it too. So it's just you get so much positive emotion out of watching other people race. So I love to do that and to, have this connection with 26 other girls and watching all of them race and compete. And of course, they're doing amazing, and it was just so inspirational. And for me, when for my 200 breaststroke, that's my favorite event. It always has been. And when I was in high school, I was probably a sophomore, maybe a junior. My coach over in New Jersey pulled me aside after a meet, and I don't know where this came from, but he said, "You're going to be the first woman to go under 220. And I was like, "Okay, coach, I go like 240, but thanks." And I kind of pushed it away, and a couple of years later, I came back to that thought, and I said, okay, I want to be the first one to go 220. And slowly, from 227, 226, 225, very gradually, I got to that 220.2, which I did in Beijing, which I didn't expect to go that fast in Beijing. But it wasn't under 220, so I didn't achieve my goal. So the 4 years between Beijing and London, I had that number in my head the whole time. And I never told anyone. I never told my coach that was my goal. He was always yelling things like, "You're going to go 215. Like, okay, coach. I was like, in my head, I'm like, all you need is 219. So it was this really strong internal goal. It was something that fired every day in practice. It drove me to work really hard, and I didn't tell anyone about it because it was a private, personal thing. It made it more special. So in London, in the semifinals, going into it, for me, you guys know how to set up prelim, semifinals, and then the next day you swim your finals. So you swim 3 times, and for me, semifinals is so much easier because you're going to have another shot. You're going to have the finals, you're going to worry about the medals then, but for now you get to race with no pressure, and you get to kind of relax and try to swim your best time. So I was really shooting for the 219 on that semifinal race, and I swam a great race. I felt really good. I heard Dave, my coach, whistling like crazy, which is you can hear from across the world. And it was just an overall great race. So I touched the wall. I'm like, okay, that felt good. Like, tomorrow's going to be great. And I turned around, and I'm like, oh, in my head, hoping I had that 2:19. I got the world record, but I went a 2:20.00. And I turned around, and the world record was broken 3 years ago when the super suits were around, and just to get the world record back was amazing, but I was like, really? So you have to just laugh at that. I mean, it makes a great story. So, but in my head, I was like, okay, this only puts that much more pressure on tomorrow night. So tomorrow night rolls around, we get up onto the blocks and finals and walking out, and I was definitely really nervous, but that's to be expected. And I just remember walking out and thinking in my head, this is the moment. I've trained 4 years, if not 15 years, for this right now, for this 2 minutes and 19 seconds. And, this may be my last shot. I don't know. So it was definitely a lot of pressure. I put a lot of pressure on myself, and then I kind of had to say, stop thinking about it. That's it. That's the last time you're going to think about it. Because if you're going through a race and the whole time you're thinking, oh, I have to go 2:19, I have to go 2:19, it could be good, but it could also not be good. So I know when I swim, I have to kind of zone out, just feel the rhythm of the water, really connect to what I'm doing as opposed to what I want the outcome to be. So I thought about it before we stepped on the blocks, and then I just cleared my head, did the race. It felt great. There were a couple of my teammates in the water that trained with me at USC that swim for other countries, and the other American girl, Michael Lawrence, who was in there with me. And, I was kind of not looking around, but there were people that were really close to me as I'm swimming, and I'm looking, and I'm like, they go like a 2:23, so I really should be a little bit faster than this. I should be out faster, but then I said, stop thinking about it. Don't worry, just swim your own race. So many times throughout that race, I had to tell myself to stop thinking. And that's really important because your body is ready. When you're racing your big race, your body is ready. I promise you, all that training that goes into that moment, you don't have to be thinking about turning your hand out or catching this way or trying to beat that person. You just have to swim your own race. And that's what I did, and when I touched the wall, and even though there were people close to me, it didn't matter. I knew I had won the gold medal, which I was thrilled, but I was so scared to turn around and look at the scoreboard. So I, for a second, kind of looked at the touchpad and said, okay, it's over. Now I just have to turn around and look, and when I looked up, 2:19.5, which was a lot faster than I expected to go. So it was a really I was so thrilled that my parents were there to share it with me, and they didn't get a chance to come to Beijing. So just looking up and seeing them and seeing my coach, and thinking back to the moment when my coach back in high school told me that you're going to go at 2:19, and that one sentence made it all possible. So really, the moral of that story is to believe in yourself more than anyone else will believe in you, and to really not give up. From Beijing to London, I never had a best time. 4 years without a best time in the 200 breaststroke, and I got close every summer, every big meet and world championships. I always got kind of close, but even when I felt my best, I couldn't do it. And I'm sure many of you have gone through that too, where you're trying to kind of get into this slump, and if you haven't had it yet, it's going to happen to you. And the best way to get over that is to not think about it. Not think about it. You just want to go through your training, find ways to have fun. Don't think about times, because times don't really matter. And, there definitely were days, weeks, months when I just wasn't enjoying it. It's going to happen for all of you guys at some point where everything kind of becomes the same and you're just slumping into practice and you're so tired and there's a million reasons that you don't want to be here. And that's the point when I had to say, but I do want to be here because my friends are here, or, I'm excited to do warm-up because that's my favorite part of practice. Whatever it is, find something to be excited for. Be proud of yourself. Little victories mean a lot, whether it's, oh my gosh, I actually finished practice today. It doesn't matter if you went slow, but I tried, and I finished, and I did well, and now I can go take a nap. Or if it's, I just went my best time in practice, and I feel great, or, it doesn't matter what it is, but find something to be proud of yourself for. And, making goals along the way. So there's different levels of goals that you have to make. There's the ultimate goal, the 2:19, and then there's, what do I want to do this summer at nationals or junior nationals or whatever it is, JOs, sectionals. anything. It's like your end goal, or if you want to make a cut. It's like little steps along the way, but you also need the little daily goals. So for me, it was, I want to have a good practice today, or, I want to accomplish something else outside the pool, whatever it is. Just giving yourself a pat on the back every now and then for doing something, but always keeping your bigger goals in mind. So that's a little bit of my story, but now I want you guys, if you have any questions, I'd love to hear them and answer them for you guys. It can be anything. Don't be shy. Okay, we'll start that way. You gotta yell it though, okay?
How long do you normally practice every day?
This past few years, I've trained about 6 hours a day, not all in the water. Oh my gosh, no. I would do, there was a time after Beijing where I did only singles in the morning, and then I did a lot of, that's when I really started to pick up the yoga and Pilates. So, but training for London, I did about 2 hours in the morning, and then either another practice in the pool later in the day, or if it wasn't a doubles day, I would do a yoga class and a weights, or not weights, but a dry land session. Tried to do 3 workouts a day, basically, whether it was spinning, swim, and yoga, or swim, whatever, Pilates, but about 3 a day. That's really fun. Yeah, so about 3 different workouts a day for an average of 6 hours, but spread out throughout the day. And I also kind of count everything else as part of my training too. Resting can be a really important part. If you don't give your body, when it's screaming out for rest, you have to really honor that. So all those other things, nutrition, resting, it's all really part of the training too. Good question. Yes. Yell it out. If I could eat any animal? I think a tiger. That was always my favorite. I like how they growl. It's really cute. And their tails. What would you be? Come on. You asked the question, you gotta know. A monkey. That's good. I like that. All right, go ahead. I'm not sure yet about Rio. Rio is the next Olympics. I'm taking the year off right now, which I'm really enjoying. And kind of just taking it as it goes, so we'll see. Yeah. Can you yell it out?
What do you think when you get to the London Olympics?
In what? What do you mean?
Like when you meet the team.
When you meet the team? Well, we make the team. The team gets put together at trials, and we all kind of get together there. But it's really exciting when we actually get over to London or to wherever the big meet is. It's just a lot of fun. You're seeing everybody from around the world that you've slowly gotten to know and be friends with, and people you race with. And it's just, swimming is a really small world. You guys are going to find that as you keep going on this journey. That all the friends you have now, as you get older and go through high school and college, you all kind of spread out and keep making friendships. And I can honestly say that I can go to any big area of the country and I'll have a friend there that I can see and stay with, and that's pretty special. So a lot of the people that I've met along the way, and the teammates and friends, and that's for me has been one of the highlights of being the athlete that I've become. It's not necessarily about the medals, but about the people and the experiences along the way too.
Okay, so we got 2 more questions. So one, and then the guy in the yellow is going to have to be our last one to keep us on track.
When you were 11 or 12, do you remember what your 50 breaststroke time was?
I'm going to say it was fast.
No, it probably wasn't. I never paid attention to times. I still don't, except for 2:19, 45 minutes. I don't really remember, but I'm sure we could look it up. Although the other day I did pull up my 100 backstroke time from 1995. It was not pretty. I don't know why.
All right, last question for the guest guy here.
How old were you when you went to Beijing?
To where? To Beijing. How old was I? I was 21. 21 in Beijing, 25 in London.
All right, well, that's going to wrap it up. How about a big round of
Thank you
applause?
guys.